video number 2. This one here, I mean, the last video that I did, I came in the morning, wrote out a little script, and kind of read through that. This one here, I'm not going to do that. So there might be some spots where there's some blanks while I'm thinking of the next thing I'm going to say, but what I wanted to share with you today is something that struck me last night. I've been spending a lot of time looking at YouTube videos to do with real estate. There's a lot of real estate coaches out there. I'm kind of a knowledge junkie when I'm starting something new. I want to learn as much as I can and become the best that I can. That's probably something that everybody tries to do, but I can be fairly focused, maybe more than I should be sometimes. But one of the things that struck me is that all of the real estate and real estate coaching videos that I've seen so far, the majority of them, there are a couple that are outside of that, and that's kind of what hit this for me. They all talk about listings. Get as many listings as you can. It's all about listings. And to me, when I think about what my objective is, what our objective is, it's not to get listings. It's not to be the person, I have 33 listings. Well, that's fine. But if half of those listings have been on the market for 140 days, that's not the objective. As a realtor, as I see it, our number one job when it comes to sellers is selling your home. My father, and you'll hear me talk a lot about some of the sayings that he used to have, but it was always, if it's easy, it probably isn't worth doing. And I think a lot of that comes down to the selling of your home too. When you put your house on the market, your objective is to sell it. You may be moving, you may want to move up in the housing market, you might want to move laterally, you might want to downsize, but the objective is to sell. I mean, that's why you're putting it on the market. So I want to talk today about some of the key things that I've learned from my wife which makes that process successful. Number 1, clean, and clean some more. Okay, clean like there's hundreds of thousands of dollars dependent upon it. Because if someone comes in your house and we're doing a showing and there's clothes over here and there's rags on the cupboard, and what's the impression there, right? I mean, when you go into a car lot and they're trying to sell you a new car, that car is the cleanest that car will ever be in its entire lifetime, because they want to give that first impression. So that's number 1. Number 2, declutter. Okay, all the things that we have around our house, pictures of our kids, the antiques that we got from grandma, our spoon collection, things all over the kitchen cupboard that we put there because they're convenient. The idea when you're listing your home is to declutter it, because if you don't declutter it, someone else can't picture it as their home. If they can't picture it as their home, it's hard for them to envision them being in that property and paying for that property, okay? Number 3, eliminate smells. We get used to being in our house. We have pets. Some people smoke. Others have strong scents that they really appreciate. But you have to think, if from someone coming into your home for the first time, what's their impression? You want to make sure that there's no lingering odors of anything that anybody could find offensive, okay? They do have the misters, and that's okay, as long as it's mild. Or the old adage, bake a cake before you have a showing, right? Bake some cookies. Give that smell of, oh my God, I want to live in this house, right? Number 4, repaint if necessary. Sometimes that can mean the whole house. If you have a bedroom that's a lime green and another one that's hot pink, that's the colors the kids picked because it was cool when you got the house. But again, when someone comes into the home, you want to have colors that are basic, right? Neutral colors. So again, someone can picture themselves living in the house, right? Okay, that's number one when it comes to paint. That's kind of the overall house or the overall, the whole room. But on the listing meetings that I've been to, the showings that I've been to, probably one of the most important things that I see that needs to be adjusted, baseboards, casings around the door, trim. I mean, these are the things that get beat up the most. And you can have a $600,000 home, but if all the casings around the doors have nicks and scratches and color marks on them, again, picture that automobile that you're going to buy. If you open up that car door and there's garbage from McDonald's on the floor and there's a spilt coffee on the console, are you going to buy that car? No. Because you want something that looks like it's as new as possible, as clean as possible, right? So yeah, repaint when necessary. Focus on the baseboards, focus on the door casings, focus on the trim. Okay, make sure that at least is as good as you can get it. Number 5. Whoops. Depersonalize your home. Going back to what we were talking before, we want to have pictures on the wall that are tasteful, that are moderate, but having pictures of our 16 grandkids that mean so much to us, cluttering, the coffee tables and the end tables and in the bedroom and the dressers, and that's part of our home. And they're important to us, but when other people come in, folks, it's just clutter, okay? The same with pictures that may be specific to your work, your life, you want to have that home looking in a way that people can see it as their own, and that's hard to do when you have very personal pictures or a whole bunch of photographs everywhere. Okay, so those are some things that we can do, and I understand it takes work, but again, I'll tell you, going back to Dad, that if it's easy, it usually isn't worth doing. So if as a realtor I come to your home and you talk to me and you say, okay, I want to sell my house, I say, okay, that's great. I'll take some pictures, I'll take some measurements, and we'll go through the paperwork. And I talk to you about nothing else. I've failed, okay? I've now put your property on the market when it's not in an acceptable condition to sell. And folks, that's what sometimes happens and why these properties are on the market for so long, okay? It's not about having 33, 50 listings. That's not what it's about. It's about putting listings on the market that sell. I don't want to find a real estate agent that has 50 listings that have been on the market for 200 days. Something isn't working. Whatever they're doing, something isn't working. We don't want to do that. Okay? So again, clean some more. Clean like there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, because there is. Declutter. Eliminate smells. Repaint if necessary, especially in those key areas. Depersonalize your home, okay? Always think to yourself the analogy of you going down to the car dealer and opening the door of that new car, and you got the new car smell and everything's shiny and it just looks fantastic. That's what we want your home to be. Going one step further, we offer staging services. the initial overview and suggestions, that's all without cost. The next video I'm going to do, we're going to talk about pricing, because really, even if we do all this stuff and we price it $30,000, $40,000 more than what the market will bear, it's going to sit there too. All right. Some key things to keep in mind, folks. We'll talk to you next time. Cheers.